The loss of a child is one of the most intense and challenging pains to understand. In Spiritism, however, nothing happens without a reason. Every passing, no matter how painful, is connected to the universal laws that guide spiritual evolution. The law of cause and effect, one of the pillars of Spiritist doctrine, teaches that all situations we experience are consequences of previous experiences, whether in this life or in past incarnations. But why do some children leave so soon? Spiritism explains that these departures may be linked to trials or atonements, both for the spirit returning to the spiritual plane and for the family members who remain. The pain can be a path of learning and progress, bringing lessons that strengthen faith and broaden understanding of life and death. Let's explore how this law manifests and what greater purpose lies behind these early departures. The law of cause and effect and the soul's trials. In Spiritism, death is not seen as punishment or something meaningless, but as part of the divine laws that guide spiritual evolution. The law of cause and effect, also known as the law of return, explains that everything that happens to a spirit results from its past actions, whether in this life or in other existences. When a child passes away tragically, Spiritism suggests that this departure may be related to a trial or atonement. Atonement. This involves repaying for mistakes made in past lives. If a spirit caused harm previously, it may go through painful experiences as a way of learning and making amends. However, this atonement is never a punishment but rather a chance for spiritual rebalancing. Trial. Some souls choose to face certain difficulties before reincarnating because they know it will be essential for their growth. Thus, an early death can represent a trial for both the spirit and the family members, contributing to the moral and spiritual development of everyone involved. In addition, the pain of loss can serve as a trial for parents and family members who undergo a learning experience, strengthening themselves spiritually and developing faith and acceptance in the face of divine will. Spiritism teaches that even if we don't immediately understand the reasons for these departures, everything happens under perfect divine justice, always aiming at spiritual progress. Mission of spirits who leave early. In Spiritism, the premature death of a child may be related to a spiritual mission. Spirits who pass away during childhood may have come to Earth to fulfill a brief and specific role, leaving valuable lessons for those who remain. Spirits who need little time on Earth. According to Allan Kardec, some spirits have already reached a certain level of evolution and do not need a long incarnation to learn. They come into the world for a short period to complete spiritual adjustments or fulfill a cycle before returning to the spiritual plane. Spirits who come to teach. Often, these children leave deep marks on the hearts of those around them, awakening love, empathy, and reflection on the fragility of life. Even in a short time, they can transform the lives of parents and family members, leading them to seek greater understanding of existence and spirituality. Departure as a trial for parents and family members. The pain of loss can serve as a tool for spiritual growth for those left behind. Parents may be going through a trial of faith and acceptance, learning to cope with divine will. This can also strengthen family bonds and awaken a deeper awareness of spirituality. In Spiritism, it is believed that nothing is by chance. Every passing has a purpose, and no matter how painful, there is always a lesson involved. Spirits who leave early leave a legacy, even if subtle, that helps in the evolution of those who stay. Returning to the spiritual world and the continuity of life. In Spiritism, death is not the end but a transition to the spiritual world. When a child passes away, their spirit returns to the spiritual homeland, where they are welcomed and receive all the necessary support for their adjustment. Support in the spiritual plane. According to Allan Kardec, child spirits are received with great care in the spiritual plane, often by protective spirits and deceased family members. Since they may not fully understand their new condition, they are assisted by spiritual benefactors until they adjust to their new reality. Spiritual evolution continues. Even after passing, the child's spirit continues its evolutionary process. It may spend some time in the spiritual plane before reincarnating again, continuing its learning in a new earthly experience. In Spiritism, no one loses the opportunity to evolve, as life is a continuous cycle of growth. Bonds of love are never broken. One of the most comforting messages of Spiritism is that death does not permanently break bonds of love. Spirits can remain close to their family members, helping and influencing them positively. The reunion will inevitably happen in future incarnations or in the spiritual plane when the time is right. Therefore, the Spiritist view of early death is not one of loss but of transition. The child's spirit continues to exist, being cared for and prepared for new experiences, while those who stay learn and evolve through this experience. If you enjoyed today's video, leave your like and subscribe to the channel to get updates whenever we post here. See you next time. Gratitude.